week of East County Sports Live. I'm Ramon Scott, and I'm joined by my partner at East County Sports, Dave Dickens, and a great week of high school football last week, and we got a couple of defensive stars joining us for the interview this week, Dave. First of all, from the Steele Canyon Cougars, talk about playing some defense this week. Viliamu-Ah-You Morse, you can call him Rugby. Everyone else does around the Steele Canyon campus. Thank you for joining us. And from the Helix Highlanders, Jeremiah Fletcher, and he had the big plays in the fourth quarter last week, Dave. Dave, I hope you're not frozen on me. I want to hear what you have to say about these guys and get our show started, and we'll ask these guys some questions. They've got some good games coming up this week we got to know about.
Well, I tell you what, I think we should start Mr. Rugby there. I mean, you had a tough beginning game to come out and play the Titans the way that you did. Eastlake, I mean, they did have a change at quarterback, so people were saying, well, they had lesser of a team, but you guys also knew that you had to put 150% playing that team. And then, of course, they had a question. You know, you guys didn't have let's just say like Nate or like Fish from the years before. So that means, guess what? The defense step up, and boy, did you step up. That pass rush, I'm sure you guys had them backpedaling all evening. Was that the whole idea behind the defensive scheme?
No, mainly throughout the week we worked on their run. Our coach worked mainly off of their tight end sets. We actually set up a formation just for their tight end set, but they came out against the JV and freshmen in all doubles, so we're expecting a pass rush. So we made a little tweaks at the end to try to get the pass rush in there.
Yeah, and a great job, Rugby, by you guys, but not just you. I mean, you had 3 sacks and forced a fumble, but Junior Akintunde, he recovered a couple of fumbles. Antoine Walker had multiple pass breakups. Also, we had an interception in that game, I think, by Johnson. So everyone stepped up and did their roles in that game. Maybe our offense didn't produce as much as we needed them to, but maybe they did. They produced just enough. Did you guys feel some extra pressure because the offense wasn't necessarily going up and down the field?
No, not really. We were expecting that. Since our offense is really fresh, we just want to have them work out the kinks and get them really rolling towards the end of the season. We're really a team that you don't want to play in the playoffs because we get our stuff together during the end. So our defense, since we're mostly returners, a lot of us played varsity last year. We were prepared, and they gave us a ton of time to review their film, and we felt prepared that we could stop them.
Was there any panic there after that first series? I mean, Eastlake went down and got that first score, but I'm sure you guys weren't panicking on the defensive side just because they went down and scored the first touchdown.
No, not really. Mistakes happen. I mean, we were antsy. We were trying to get that quick 3 and out, and we just got one over the top, and they got another big play later during the game, and we stopped them there. But it's just a simple mistake, and we fixed it.
And Dave has asked for go ahead, Dave.
I want to rewind on what you were just the statement you made a little earlier, and I want Jeremiah to kind of chime in on that because we all know the last game of the regular season is going to be a big game, and you know, you look at last year. I mean, you guys said you had, you're trying to get your stuff together now, and Jerry, the closer it gets to playoff time. Jeremiah, you sure know that. I'm sure firsthand.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
And you get towards playoff time.
Yeah. I realized that like during the last game of league when we played them. I mean, it was a battle, but yeah, I see what he's saying
there. Yeah,
but
Jeremiah.
You really have like a. Would you guys call it a almost like a, I don't know. There's so many different types of rivals these days, like a charter rival, really. I mean, you got both charter schools, I guess, but
Hmm.
you have a rival within itself. I mean, you guys play each other pretty tough, and you can never underestimate Steele. They can never underestimate the Highlanders. Always one of the better games to watch, especially from a viewer standpoint.
Yeah, of course. We went in going against Still Can last year thinking we did go in thinking like we didn't think it was going to be like another team that was just going to roll over for us, but we knew we were going in for a fight. But at the end of the day, Still Can got one on us, and that was that.
But
Well,
at least you guys look at it this way. But you had the 5-star banner.
Hmm.
Everybody got a piece of the banner, including the Eagles, and I'm sure the Eagles had many thanks to Steel Canyon for sure on that one. Stick
Yeah.
it out to the.
well, Dave, let's not get ahead of ourselves with Viliamu and Jeremiah. I mean, that game is weeks away right now. We got other problems going on this week. But Jeremiah, I just want to know about the game against Cajon. On Friday night, you had the interception with 45 seconds left of the game. You recovered that fumble with 3:47 to go. You combined with Tyler Tucker for that sack in the fourth quarter. Where'd you get the energy, man? I mean, that had to be a hard fought game. It was close, and really, you came up with the biggest defensive plays of the game. I know you got credit to your teammates there, but you were in the right position to seal that game for us.
Really, all I got my energy from is going into halftime. We didn't like how the game was heading for us because like the first play of defense, it was our first series was a touchdown, and we had to come back from that going, especially going into halftime. We just had to pick it up, and I knew I had to do something for our team. We had a huge talk with our coaches, players, and everything.
Jeremiah, the switch for you this year, they asked you really to be a defensive lineman last year. Maybe was it out of necessity? So you kind of followed the same path as
Hmm.
Michael Shawcroft. I mean, he kind of started as a younger player as a down lineman, eventually moves to linebacker just because, we grow, we need, and
Yeah.
the team needs certain things. So are you finding this easier? You're finding this more fun? What do you think's going on for you in your switch from down lineman last year to linebacker now?
Well, I originally came into high school to play linebacker, but my first year in varsity as a sophomore, I played linebacker. Then my second year, we really needed to get our line together, seeing how most of our line was seniors and they graduated. So the best decision for our team was for me to start and go to DN. And me moving from DN to back to linebacker this year, it was kind of challenging during summer and stuff, during 7-on-7, just because I wasn't used to uh, dropping back for the pass and everything like that. But it's starting to feel a lot better.
Dave
Now,
Cajon?
Ramon,
Yeah, go ahead.
you on Ramon, you touched on it with the inland show earlier last week, prior to Cajon and Helix battling, and the biggest thing that I noticed that they talked about, and I don't know if Jeremiah noticed that, but they were talking about shrinking the playbook because they didn't have Brad behind center anymore. So, you know, you have a younger quarterback in there, doesn't have as much experience. Did you guys prepare for them differently based on that fact?
Yes, we did. Because we knew last year when we played them that they had a mobile quarterback that could also throw the ball. But going to this year, we knew that. Well, from the film that we seen from their scrimmage, we seen that their starting quarterback that was a transfer. We seen that he wasn't really that mobile. That we knew he could throw and everything, but we weren't really like anticipating for the run from the quarterback or the scramble. So we kind of just focused on the pass coverage and everything like that.
Hey,
Well, and
Rugby, go ahead, Dave.
the back, the was this definitely at the end of that one? You definitely got your payback on your turf after going over there, and you had the injury bug. And I know that you guys don't like to use that as an excuse. Talked about it just a couple of weeks ago, and you guys are not about using the injury bug as an excuse. But you went out there, you played the game, and you played Helix football and you came out on top.
Yeah, sir. For the injury stuff, I mean, everyone. It was just everyone's first game. Everyone's not used to playing long games like that. Everyone was cramping up, but we knew we had to come back and fight for the win. It wasn't going to be easy.
Hey,
And,
Viliamu, go ahead, Dave.
Lastly, and I'll hand it off to Ramon. I mean, was there a pregame speech or even your postgame speech? What did Coach Robbie have to say? I mean, I know he's a man of a lot of words, and he really has great schemes. His whole coaching staff has great schemes, and I mean, he had you pretty well prepared. But was there anything that really stood out to you before you hit the field to take on Cajon?
What really stood out, the pregame speech, of course, from Coach Owens saying everything, the main stuff, how they pretty much kicked our butts last year, how we're definitely not letting that happen again, especially on our home turf. We just got to leave everything on the field tonight or that night.
Noah did refer to the halftime speech. I'm not always big on, what comes out of the locker room, but Noah actually mentioned this halftime speech in one of the interviews that I saw. So was there something to that? Because I don't know if anything was unexpected in the course of the game, considering the score. Maybe if anything, our chances were a little bit hyped, overly hyped, because Cajon's still going to come in with a good program. Did he have to kick you guys in the butt and say, hey, these guys this is not the same team we played last year?
Pretty much, yeah. Our coach, especially our defensive coordinator, came in mad, especially with our DBs and our secondary. We just had to pick it up. He was just got on us for everything, and we knew we had to pick it up. We had no other choice.
Hey, who's that?
This is my dog. His name is Rocky.
Rocky makes it a first. Hey, Viliamu, go ahead, Dave.
Is that your new secret weapon? Is that who you're going to be practicing? Maybe he's going to be running back that you're going to be.
That doesn't look like a Scotty dog.
Yeah, you never know.
Hey, Viliamu, well, it doesn't get any easier this week. I mean, there's no doubt that Eastlake, look, they lost a lot of players. They were coming in maybe down a little bit as far as their ability in the game, and they still, because of their great defense and coaching, were able to make it a great ball game and stay, within really one score all the way until we got that field goal. But man, it doesn't get any easier this week. One of the hottest teams, really. I mean, it's been 1 week, and we're never going to count Madison as being a team that's down at all, but they're kind of sneaking back up onto the radar, mostly because of the man down there, Keontae Springs. I mean, certainly one of the county's top running backs, and I know you've already seen his breakaway speed with those long touchdown runs he had last week, 88 and 80 yards. He rushed for 360 total yards in the game. He had 7 receptions. He might have had more yards himself than you and the Titans combined. What are you going to do to stop Keontae Springs and the Warhawks?
Our plan is to stop him before he even gets started. We're just trying to figure out, because we have fast guys, but we don't have that fast guys. So we're just trying to shut him down, trying to just stop him, pursue angles, and just trying to get outside, so he has to stop his feet, cut back inside to our ralliers.
What do you expect them to do as a wrinkle? I mean, they're not going to go with, they are going to go with a lot of Keontae, but they've got some other guys too. What are you seeing? What are you guys practicing for as far as their wrinkles away from the running of Springs?
We're expecting a lot of quick passes, especially since their line is massive. I was looking at their max preps today. 6'5", 320-pound guards. It's insane. And so we're just expecting the quick passes or the inside run. Try to just get it out there dirty and quick.
Yeah, you got to make sure you stack that box and that but you got some pretty quick DBs, and your DBs are not the smallest DBs either. you got some pretty big boys out there, but they're athletic at the same time. So, if I see a couple of things up Coach Longerbone's sleeves. I'm sure that he has some nasty plays. Not asking for you to release those secrets, but he always has some nasty plays, as he calls them, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Dave, this ends up now being, you look at the latest media poll that's going to, I'll tip my hand a little bit. This is going to come out tomorrow. I don't know if nobody's going to go on and see this. My buddies, I think there might be an embargo on the new poll is going to come out. Steele Canyon is going to be ranked 7th in the county when the poll is released tomorrow. Madison is going to be, you look at the power rankings in Madison, well, maybe they're outside of the top 10, but the media tomorrow is going to have Madison at number 9. So this is going to be maybe one of the top matchups, certainly in the county, of 2 top 10 teams. I mentioned those teammates of yours, Viliamu. Junior had the 2 fumble recoveries. Antoine was great, but Chance Johnson had that interception, and he broke up a pass as well. But one of the biggest plays was on those special teams. And, I don't know who's part of the unit, but I know Dave loves this story about Longerbone taking those special teams out for Chinese buffet on Saturdays. Chris Carter got that ball at the 10-yard line, and he was heading for the end zone. He got one guy kind of pushed him.
So close.
He was heading for pay dirt, and he was headed for Chinese buffet for the entire special teams unit. And I don't know, he did get jostled a little bit, ended up stepping out of bounds at like the 10-yard line. Cost everybody buffet on Coach Bone's dollar.
Jeez. Yeah, I was really looking forward to it. I was on there. I blocked my guy. He ran past me. I was running down to try to block another dude, and he was gone. I was like, he's going to make it. And boom, he's like, oh, my. He was so close. Now free dinner taken away from me.
Yeah, Dave, it wasn't. It wasn't that Chris lost his balance and accidentally. He was pushed a little bit, tried to keep his feet, tried to kind of toe tap the sideline and keep going and score those guys that food.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm sure Coach Longerbone really doesn't matter too much, but he did mention, if it continues that way, his pockets there's going to be lint filled in his pockets at the end of the day. But at the same time, I know that he really appreciates the hard work that you guys put into it. And I'm sure you guys think the same of your coach. I mean, you gotta admit, Coach Longerbone is probably one of the top 5 coaches in the county, if not higher. I mean, he really has some great schemes he puts together. He really works hard on figuring out the other teams, and I'm sure you guys watch plenty of film and breaking it down and your walkthroughs. And like I said, he likes those dirty plays, and I've seen some of them when you guys were practicing them. And there's always some trick plays, and don't give them away, but there's plenty of those from Steele, and that's what won you a state championship. That's what got you back into CIF, and that's what gets you to continue to make the postseason.
Yeah, Dave, the Warhawks are coming off a 34-23 win at Rancho Bernardo. I think when you start to see, the people that make predictions and stuff like that in this game, that maybe they'll be split on this, but I think Madison having that home field edge, I think that's certainly got to be a concern for you guys, Rugby, that this one is going on the road. Madison is not an unfamiliar opponent for Steele Canyon. I mean, they've played Madison for several times I can remember. So what's it going to be like on Friday night going to their place for this one? Man, that's going to make it tough.
Yeah, it's always going on the road is rough. The bus rides over there, and there's just the atmosphere of being in a place you're not familiar with, you're not familiar playing with. But we're just trying to get our players together, get our minds in the game, just focus on the game, no distractions. Coach Bone's big on his no distractions. And so we're just trying to prep as much as we can before we face off with them.
And Jeremiah, this week, we're going to face Harriman. We got them at home, another good opponent. not of the Cajon caliber, I would say. I think we're expected to win this game. We played them, I believe, 2 years ago. Dave, some big news coming out of this game this week. Jeremiah's teammate, a guy probably looks up to, I think we all look up to him, Leon Noah. He's expected to set the all-time Helix record for rushing yards. With just 13 more yards, he will set the school record, breaking the record of Reggie Bush. Wow. And you look at Reggie's career now. Look, Leon's a different player, Jeremiah, than Reggie. I mean, he's with you on that defense. Maybe when our careers go on, we're looking at a great defensive player in the future in Leon Noah. What does that say to you about him getting ready to set this tremendous offensive record, beating really one of the best backs? San Diego's produced all these great backs, but to beat his record but just the type of player that he is, I don't think anybody's projecting Leon to go on to be Reggie Bush in the NFL. We expect him maybe to be a defensive player in college. What do you think about your teammate?
I think, first of all, very highly of Leon. He's one of the best players I ever had the experience to play with. He's definitely going somewhere. He's not going to be one of those players who stays home. I feel like he's going to go off somewhere, play something big. But knowing if he will play offense or defense, I mostly see him as an offensive player since he's able to make all these plays when we need him. He's explosive, everything like that. So I mostly see him as an offensive player in the future. As a defensive player, I will never know until he gets there.
Well, what does he bring with you on the defensive side? I think we know about Leon and his incredible running style, his nonstop. I thought that run that he had about mid-game on Friday, it just was his typical run into the line, and the line just carried him another 15 or 20 yards into Cajon territory. I mean, that was a typical rugby. Smiling because he's seen it and felt it. I'm going to ask him about it in just a second when it's hard to tackle this guy. But tell me about what he brings to you on the defensive side, because I'm just telling you maybe what I think that maybe what college scouts see. Maybe he wants to continue as a running back, but you look at his size and everything too. So tell me about him defensively, please.
Defensively, he brings a lot of things to the table. His caliber as a player, knowing the plays easily, being able to recognize plays, everything. He really uplifts the defense, especially the offense, but the defense too, with just the type of player he is, helping everyone, leading everyone. He's a great leader, and he brings everyone up with him.
Dave, I'm sure that rugby can attribute trying to tackle Leon.
It's hard. Really, really hard.
Dave, what do you think about Fato smashing that record this week? I don't know if he'll catch Royce Freeman and his 7,000-plus yards, but, man, the way Fato's rolling up these 200-yard games, nothing's out of the question.
You know who we're forgetting about, though? There's a couple of key guys, and nothing to take away from Leon. He's just a phenomenal athlete, period. But we got some new pieces to the puzzle, and I want to hear your opinion too, Jeremiah, is about how Cameron Brown is really he's evolved into quite the athlete. He's not just a receiver any longer. He's also taking snaps from behind center. And Coach, after talking to Coach last week, he really had some great things to say about Cameron. And he's kind of a smaller in size, but from what Coach was saying, he really can throw the ball, and he can throw it with a lot of accuracy. He can pinpoint exactly where that ball is supposed to go. He can also use his legs, just like Delshawn. So you know what? You got two great quarterbacks once again. The playbook is endless.
Yeah,
so talk to me about how he's evolved into such the athlete. I'm talking about Cameron in particular.
with Cameron Brown going behind center, it helped us out a lot. It was like the same scenario with me needing to go to D-line to help the team. He went somewhere where we need help in with quarterbacks because Deshaun just couldn't be the only one taking reps and throwing the ball because Deshaun's more of a running quarterback. We also needed someone to throw more because we can't just always rely on Elion to just run the ball. So him going back there and be able to sling the ball with the great accuracy and everything helps us out a lot, especially with our over 6 feet receivers like Jahari Hill and Tim Christopher. With all of them, we have a lot more weapons this year.
Yeah, Jeremiah, one thing I noted in the game, I didn't really talk about it too much, but Lilian did cramp up. Were you feeling fatigue at all in that game? Maybe his workload needs to be lightened a little bit, but I don't think he'd ever go for that. But he definitely, midway in the fourth quarter when the chips were starting to be in play, he did cramp up a little bit. What were the conditions like out there for you and the players? Were you fighting any physical fatigue?
Really out there during the fourth quarter, it was probably one of the hardest fourth quarters I've personally been in, mostly because it's our first game going against one of our hardest teams on our schedule. Everyone was feeling it, the fatigue, the crampness. No one was used to that game scenario setting. But during the fourth quarter, everyone, like I said, everyone was feeling it, but even I was feeling it, the soreness in my legs, the cramping starting to kick in. But everyone knew we all had a job to get done, and we went out there and did it.
Rugby, I want you to kind of reflect on what did you see, and how is this going to affect going up against a great team like Madison? And no discredit to your team whatsoever, but offensively, especially at the quarterback position.
Well, our quarterback is definitely not new, but since our transfer Nate and then Patch before him or Fish, he's definitely getting the hang of it. I mean, but I feel like I know Jeremy. I've been in classes with him. He's a really great dude, and I feel like he'll just get in the hang of it, and he'll just find that chemistry with certain receivers at certain times and just pull through when we need him to.
And possibly, I mean, everybody's probably going to expect Neely, and they're going to expect a lot of Chance Johnson, especially big doses of that. And obviously, whether it be from the backfield or kick returns, we got plenty of those, I'm sure, in Chance's back pocket. But I think we're probably going to lean. Would it be safe to say? You don't need to give away any of the secrets, but I'm sure it's going to be pounding the ball for a while, just until we can really figure out, what the depth is as far as the quarterbacks.
Yeah, I guess you can say that.
Yeah, well, here's the thing I think on that, Viliamu, is that I thought that Jeremy Mendez-Gal got in that game, and I think Longerbone even said it in his post-game interviews, and sometimes this is what we look for in today's games, especially we got a defense that played as incredible as you guys did. He manages the game. You know what? In that second quarter, you remember, he engineered that drive, and he threw several completions. He got off to a slow start pass, but he got several completions on that drive, and he was leading the receivers really well. And then when he finally hit that pass, I think, in the corner of the end zone to Antoine, that was a well-thrown ball too. And I think at that point, Coach decided, let's stick with Jeremy. He's able to run it. Now, we didn't get in the end zone again, and I know this week we're going to need more offense. We're going to need more than 100 yards to beat Madison. So I'm not going to ask you necessarily to say that, the offense is going to do it. But is Jeremy our man confidence-wise at this point? I thought he felt confident after the game when I spoke to him about his performance. I felt good about his performance as well, despite our lack of yardage.
Yeah, he really trusts his coaches. Like he puts a lot of faith in his teammates, and he confidence-wise and a leader. I feel like he can definitely do it. He's been doing it for the past summer.
And Jeremiah, I just have one more thing I'll touch with you. We're going to get out of here on this show, and I thank you guys for doing this. I hope it worked for you guys. I hope the stream worked. I think this is a way to get a lot of interviews done, and I think other than watching the great highlights this week, especially Jeremiah, you had a whole reel of highlights. How about this, Dave? I mean, we got Viliamu with the 3 sacks and forced the fumble. And, of course, Jeremiah, the interception, the fumble recovery, the sack. I mean, these guys did an incredible job. But you know what, Jeremiah, this week, and I know you looked a little bit about Harriman, and I just have to say I think this week, I don't know if you're going to get involved, if you had that interception last week, but Dave, these guys are prime pickings, especially for this Helix secondary this week. I'm predicting picks. I'm predicting interceptions for the Highlanders this week against Harriman of Utah, Dave. Jeremiah, I don't know if he's going to get one, but he might. And with those secondary guys that they have, I'm predicting – because I don't know, Jeremiah, I don't know if you looked at it, their quarterback has a 0 to 5 touchdown to interceptions ratio, Dave.
Well, I'll tell you what. I think that – and I'm glad that we have both of these gentlemen on first week of the season, because I think we're looking at 2 of the strongest teams that are going to be left at the end of the season, that are going to be playing at Southwestern College, and who knows how long they're going to last. But I can tell you right now, they're going to win. They're to possibly win their league, and they're definitely going to go into CIF playoffs. Whether they go 1 or 2 rounds, we can't really say that yet. And I know the old cliche, boys, you want to say 1 game at a time. We always talk about 1 game at a time. But I tell you what, I think that both of you guys got plenty of talent on the offensive side of the ball, on the defensive side of the ball. As long as you guys stay healthy, I think that's a big key to your season. And as far as Steele, I will tell you right now, we talked about it. Ramon and I talked about it early on when we were at camp. And we think that you're one of the sneak picks that people are going to be underestimating. And you never know. Just like that state championship team, you may just sneak in there and do some real damage. Whether you lose 2 or 3 during the season, that's not going to matter, because when it comes down to when it's crunch time, then it's going to be on. And I think that you guys are very capable. Tune up the quarterback a little bit. I'm sure you can do that. And then on with Helix. Come on, Helix. You guys are always, Jeremiah, you guys are always pretty much, you guys are in for it every single year. There's always a chance that Helix is going to make the playoffs. I can't even remember the last time that you didn't make the playoffs.
Well, yeah.
So I think you got so many weapons, as Ramon had mentioned before, and I think this is going to be the breakout year for Elion Noah. I think that Gumby over there would even, or Rugby, he would definitely agree with that as well. After playing against him, he's probably one of the top backs in the county for sure, and he is going to have some serious numbers.
He's the number 1 back for sure. So good luck this week. Hey, if anybody has trouble pronouncing Viliamu-Ah-You's name, it looks just like it sounds right there on the screen. But you can just follow Coach Longerbone's lead and call him Rugby. And Jeremiah Fletcher going up against Harriman. A couple tough games this week, you guys. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for doing this. And you know what, Dave? You already put the pressure on these guys talking about their game in the future, and maybe we'll just get these guys on again that week and talk about it then. Let's let them worry about all these other big games until then, all right? Thanks, guys. Great job.
Thank you.
Guys.
Thank you.
All right. Viliamu-Ah-You Morse, Jeremiah Fletcher, Dave Dickens. I'm Ramon Scott. Thank you for joining us.